Assalamu alaikum teachers and students. In this video I'm going to explain you about stages of listening, especially while listening stage and while listening activities that can be used. So here are some of the while listening activities mentioned. As I've already told you that while listening means when students are listening text, and they are supposed to do some activity for good understanding, for the comprehension of the text. So three are mentioned over here. Number one is questioning. Questioning also includes some more types. For example, MCQ types, true and false, and open-ended questions. Questioning means the students are asked questions related with the text that they are listening. It can be the MCQs. MCQs, you can give a statement or you can give a question, and then you can give 3 to 4 options from which one is correct and the others are wrong. So this can be the MCQ type. Second type is true and false. You can give a statement and you can ask the students whether it is true and false. In case if it is false, then you can ask the reason from the students why it is false, so that they will have more clarification of the text. Open-ended questions are very short questions because they are listening at that moment. So only one line question, open-ended question is asked, which they can easily answer while they are listening. Second is recognizing. Recognizing means they have to recognize what is going on in the text, their intentions, why and who it is they are talking about. So first activity is the context. Context means a kind of a chart will be given to the students, a statement or a dialogue will be given, and they will be asked who said this dialogue to whom, what was the purpose behind saying that, where it is said, how it was said, what was the tone of the speaker, and why, what is the reason of saying that particular dialogue. This can be asked in while listening. Second can be the general purpose. If any important sentence is said, so you can focus on that particular sentence and you can ask the purpose of saying that particular sentence, especially in case if it's a conversation, if the listening text is a conversation. Next is recognize a specific speech intention. Now sometimes when the listening text is a conversation, then the intentions are not clear. So, and it is very important to understand the intentions so that the understanding of the text will be clear. So, asking question related with the intention of the speaker will make the things more clear. So, this can also be given as an activity. Next is recognize keyword. Now, if there are any important words, especially if it's a description of anything in the listening text, then you can ask about the keywords. Next type is matching. Matching also has three types: pictures jumbled, related or unrelated, rearranging, spoken versus written text. So in the first one, pictures are given to the students, and you can give some pictures related with the text, and some are totally unrelated with the text. So while they are listening, they have to identify the pictures which they think are related with the text. In the second one, in rearranging, some sentences are given to the students and they have to rearrange them in a proper order. It can you can say that this is a kind of an ordering as well. Okay, so along with listening to the text. Third is the spoken versus written text. So while they are listening, basically that's the spoken text that they are listening. The same, somewhat similar text is given to them in the written form, with some mistakes in it. So basically students have to listen to the text. While they are listening, they have to point out the mistakes in the written text that they are provided to them. The fourth type of while listening activity is following instructions. Now there are further types of following instructions, like students will be listening to the instructions in the audio, and they are supposed to do some activity. Now the first activity is map. So in this activity, students will be listening to the instructions, and the students and they are supposed to draw some kind of map. Like for example, I have discussed it in the class as well, that students will be listening to the map of Jinnah University, inside of the Jinnah University, and they will be drawing that map. Outline map means some of the things will be mentioned in the map will be given to the students. Some of the places will be mentioned on the map, and the others will be mentioned by the students. And some of the places are missing, which they have to mention after listening to the instructions. The third type is the modifying a picture. Modifying a picture means the pictures will be given to the students, and those pictures show something different from what they are going to listen. So according to what they are listening, they have to change that or modify that picture. Like if for example, if they are given some sad faces and the audio says that these people are very happy, then it means that they have to change the smiling face. Means if their face seems to be sad, then they have to change that sad face into a smiley face. Next is labeling and ordering. Some sequence of events will be given to the students, and listening to the instructions, like for example a cooking show, right? So the mixing of the things, or the mixing of the recipe will be given to the students in a mixed order, and students are supposed to listen to the instructions, follow the instructions, and they have to order or label those cooking sequence. Then the next type E is drawing. In drawing, students are supposed to draw anything. Like for example, I've asked you to draw a house, right? Next is performing actions. In this case, though it is very difficult, but this can also be given to the students. In this case, the students are supposed to perform some actions what they are giving instructions. Like in the instructions, they listen that now the students are going to talk to each other. So, uh, I mean, somebody is talking to each other. Then the students will be performing that action, and they will talk with each other. Next type is note taking. In note taking, it means some kind of discussion or some kind of detail they are listening in the audio, and they are supposed to fill any particular form or grid or something. Like for example, grid basically means it's a kind of a column or a table that they are supposed to fill while listening to the audio. Form is a kind of like just like your admission form. Some kind of admission form or some kind of driving license form will be given to the students, and the discussion related with that will be there in the audio, listening audio. And after listening to the audio, they are supposed to fill that form. Next is the flow chart. In the flow chart means some sequence is going on. Next is the main point, or the mind mapping. Mind mapping is just like the spider diagram. It is different from the flow chart in the sense that flow chart actually shows the flow of the sequence or some process, whereas mind mapping is very random in the form of a spider shape, and that only include the important points that are related with any particular topic. Noting down expressions, feeling, and messages means they are listening to the audio where there are some feelings or some expressions are there, or some messages are mentioned, or can be felt. So students are supposed to note down those things. Studying a paraphrase means the paraphrase is not the exact wording of the text that they are listening, but sort of in different words. It's a kind of a paraphrase. It's mentioned there. Students are supposed to read that paraphrase and point out the differences or change the differences. In note taking, basically, especially in case over here in paraphrase, students are given I mean, the paraphrase will have the important dates or the important points. If the audio has got anything such, then only this activity can be used. Otherwise, it is going to be very difficult, because in a paraphrase you cannot change the overall text until and unless the important things are same. Preparing a thought bubble means when the thought some character is thinking about something, then the students are given that in the form of a thought bubble, and students are supposed to fill that. Next is using a transcript. In this, basically students are given the transcript, exact transcript or the exact words which they are listening in the audio. So according to the audio, if there are pauses or if there are some exclamation expressions, then or the sentences are ending, on the basis of what they are listening, they have to punctuate that particular text. Underlining differences means because the text is the same, so they are supposed to some changes will be mentioned in the transcript that is given to the students, and the students are supposed to underline those differences according to the text that they listen. Next is interpreting. Interpreting is little bit, I mean, these two activities can be used at little advanced level when the students are able to understand the listening text. Okay, so it focuses on interpreting whatever is being mentioned in the audio, whatever discussion is going on in the audio. So students are supposed to infer the speaker, their intentions, their age, relationship. For example, if the discussion is between a mother and a daughter, then according to their discussion, that can easily be inferred that their relationship is mother and daughter, and their ages is maybe, if the voice is very of a small child, then it might be between 4 to 5 years old. So age and relationship can be inferred through that audio. Evaluating the speaker's attitude, maybe the attitude of the speaker is very angry or very polite or very helpful or coordinating one. So the students are supposed to infer from the audio whatever is going on, and they have to answer the question related with inference. Okay, so now the last type is completing. So as the name of this activity suggests, that all the activities that are mentioned below it will be in terms of completing something, right? So close is basically a text which has a blank after every third word, or maybe after fifth word, or maybe seventh, or maybe ninth. Basically in close, some grammatical point is focused, either the tenses or the articles or prepositions. So basically close is a kind of a fill in the blanks, but with a regular interval of blanks. Completing unfinished utterances means some utterances, the dialogues, some conversation is going on in the audio, and students are given some incomplete dialogues or utterances, and students are supposed to complete those utterances on the basis of what they listen. Next type is role listening. Role is listening means that they are listening to any particular role, and on the basis of that role, they are supposed to answer the question that are related with the role of the speakers in the audio. Then the D is dialogue. Dialogue over here, students are supposed to mention the complete dialogues. The dialogue of the first speaker is mentioned, students are supposed to write this dialogue of the second speaker, or maybe the third one, or like that. Over here, the difference is between B and D is that in B, some half of the utterance is mentioned and half is missing, whereas over here in dialogue, students are supposed to write the complete dialogue. One is mentioned by speaker, any one is speaker, and the other one is missing, which the students are supposed to complete or write. Okay, the last is the unfinished story or joke. Unfinished story means the ending of the story is missing, and students are supposed to complete that story. Like you are used to of changing the ending of the story, right? You must be given this activity in your compulsory courses. So over here, it's almost the same. Here they are supposed to complete the story. Half of the, most of the story is mentioned, only the ending is missing. So that's all for today. Tomorrow we are going to cover some of the post listening activities.